Hey guys, in this video I will show you how to play the new agent on map Bind, and we'll start with his first ability, the stealth drone, while we are attacking. So first of all, it pretty much works like a SOA drone combined with KO knife, and all you really have to do is to get into the spot where you can be using it, so that way the enemies cannot kill you in meantime while you are using it. So for the first case you can be usually going like this, and I would recommend to go through the side right here, since you can always try to get them, and if you pop it anywhere here in the back you can either detain them, or you are more likely to get anyone here in the back. Then on the other hand, if you decided to go to lamps, it is more likely that the enemies will break the stealth drone when you want to try to pop it, or you can just simply use it for the info without even popping it, but still I would recommend you to pop it. Still you can get the scan on them and you can suppress them as well. This can be especially useful if there is a, for example, Cypher playing on the side, since you can disable his tripwires while you are going for him. Obviously you can use it from the showers as well, where you would be clearing all of these corners, and once again you can get yourself pretty further into the backside and then try to pop it in the back. The same thing is gonna be right here when you are going through the short into hookah. You can try to pop it all the way here and you can be clearing the corners, and on the way there you can try to pop it all the way into the backside, and you would usually try to find and check all of these corners, so that way you know how to use your other abilities with it and try to scan them. Or you can use it all the way from long, either all the way here in the back if you are worried that there's gonna be someone trying to hold you. So you just pop it right here, and as you can see it's going pretty quickly. One thing I would not recommend is to jump while you are using this drone with it, since it slows it down a bit, and if you use it all the way here from long you can try to do something like this, and if you pop it anywhere in this area you would either get all of the players who'd be in cube and also anyone who'd be backside. When defending, I would not really recommend to use it immediately at the start of the round, since the enemies can always relocate. However, if you use it for example in hookah, you can gain the info that there's no one coming to B, and you can try to lurk with it. So that can be one benefit of it, but still I would not really recommend to use it at the beginning of the round, since enemies can be playing default and you won't get much info out of it. So that way it would be much more useful to play maybe a bit safer, so that way if you know before they hit the site you can try to use it and get the info if there's anyone coming in and try to get them. Or another way how you can use it would be simply for a retake, so that way you can either, if you are for example retaking B side or on A, you can just run into the side and know where all of the enemies are and try to get them also detained, so that way they won't be able to use their util for a while your teammate might want to run in. And of course, once again, usually I would recommend you to use this drone in combination with your other utility, so that way you know where to use them and get them off the corners where they might be playing. Next ability that we have is his stun, called Special Delivery. The great thing about this you can use it pretty much very quickly, and you can either choose if you press with a right click, so that way it will pop instantly, or you can use it with a right click, so that way it's gonna bounce off. And that way, and great thing about it as well is that if you use it for example on this side and it's gonna pop on this wall, anyone who would be even on the other side of the wall would still get stunned. So you should be trying to use it on the spots where it can hit a lot of enemies. So for example on the corner right here, where it would get pretty much anyone right here, or anyone who would be trying to maybe hold this corner right here, so they all gonna be stunned, and it can be easy. Another way you can be using it for example in a post plant, if the enemies are, if you have planted the spike anywhere in this area, you can try to bounce it off of the wall, for example like this, so that way you can peek with it with the stun, and anyone who would be on the spike will be detained, will be stunned, and you can get a kill on him pretty easily. But most importantly, from the info that you get from the drone, you can then try to use it, so that way anyone who'd be playing in the corners like these would have a hard time doing something, and you can try to get them and clear them out of the corners like that. So that way you can simply peek with it after and try to get a kill on them if you are lucky to stun them. This ability on bind is especially useful since you can be using it, for example, to stop the push a little, and anyone who would be in the choke point there can be detained. The same thing would work, for example, if you use it to, if there's someone planting, you can always bounce it off simply off the wall to get a kill on anyone there. Or the other way, you can be using it, for example, for the box right here as well, so that way anyone would be trying to plant in these spots, it can be free kill. Of course, one of the best things would be, for example, to use it in these spots where enemies can be playing close, and you don't really have to peek with it since you have your right click to get them stunned without even revealing yourself. Once again, on B, you can be using it in the middle of the tube, just like that, so that way anyone who would be in the tube is gonna be stunned and you can go in, or you can use it on the different spots, for example, like this, or throw it into the backside if you want to stun them there. But if you use it from the backside and you bounce it off, as you can see, it's still gonna hit anyone who would be in the tube. So it really depends on the info you have and how you wanna clear these spots. All of these utilities are pretty fast to be deployed, so that way you can use them, as you can see. Then there are his Molotovs, which can be used either for the post plant, since you don't really have to be very close to it, since as you can see, if you use it like this, you can just send there your missiles. They will get there pretty quickly and kill anyone who'd be trying to defuse. You can use them on the same spot, or you can spread them out, so that way the enemies would have a hard time getting away from them, as you can see. Best way to use it there would be, I would recommend to use it when you are pushing side, so for the common spots usually enemies would be either playing in somewhere in lamps, so that way they have to push back or peek out of the lamps. If you use it like this, and you would be pretty safe to entry, and meanwhile this goes off, you can already have the corner. You are holding the corner before them and you can get yourself into the side. Once again, a great way to use it with a combination with your stealth drone, where you can be using it, so of course you can be using it for the spots like these as well, so that way there's no one playing and not trying to hold you, or they at least have to change and try to they have to change their crosshair position. If they would be holding like this, they have to run away and you would be in the advantage there. While using this on defense, it can be very useful to either delay the plant for anyone going here and anyone pretty much anywhere as you want. So for example, these two spots would work nicely, since you would have to, and if you play cross, you can be trying to be playing in spots like these and try to surprise the enemy, since they would have to move out of this Molotovs. Of course, you can use it even for if you wanna try, if you know that they have a Sova or another Tejo character on the other team, and you know where he was using his ability, you can try to send it on that spot and try to get a kill on them pretty easily, as you can see. Obviously, the same thing can be applied on B side. As you can see, these Molotovs, even if you place it on top of this thing, it will still go through the wall like this, and anyone who would be standing even in the tube would be still getting hit, even if it was sent on top of it. But as you can see on B side, where it's pretty closed, you can be using it in some great spots, so that way you can cover the whole tube like this, even a little backside, and anyone who would be standing there would have to move out. And also with combination with your other util, they would have to reposition, and you can try to get a stun on them and enter pretty quickly. One nice thing that you can be doing, for example, on long, if you are playing close and you might hear the steps from the enemies, you can use your mollies like this, when the enemies would be pushing, so that way they would have to be trying to peek quickly, and if you have someone with flash, he can also try to flash them, and you can get some free kills on anyone who would be trying to go here. Or once again, to use it for the post plant, if the enemies are planting, you can deny the plant like this, so they have to move out of the site or out of their position. And once again, in hookah, as you can see, the window is a nice spot to use it on, since there's not much space to go. And of course, I should mention that once again, you can be using it for the post plant. So if you've planted anywhere in this position right here, you can be just simply using your missiles to deny the plant pretty quickly. And lastly, there is his ultimate, which I would say is one of the best ones, since you just click on the map where you want to start your ult from, and then you choose the direction where it should go to. So one of the ways would be to send it to the lamps. You can send it like this. Pardon. You can send it like this onto the side, or a little bit more to the back side, so that way you hit on them. But most of the times doing it like this would work nicely, since they would have not much time to react to it, and they would have to run away, pretty much the same way as the Brimstone ultimate works, and you can run into the side, and you are also denying them to run away from here. So there's plenty of ways, but I don't think the A site is the best site to use your ult on. You can also use it on the post plant. If they would be trying to defuse, you can always try to use it like this, for example. So that way anyone who'd be defusing would have to get off the spike and try to save themselves going by into this spot. Otherwise they would be dead. I would say that on B side the usage of your ultimate is much better, since as you can see it's gonna cover the whole site. And anyone who'd be playing there would have a hard time even getting out of these spots, and if they are even somewhere on site, they would always die, even if they would be hiding in this corner. So definitely using it on B site is much better than using it simply on than using it on A, I mean. On defense, there's plenty of ways how to use the ult. Once again, I would recommend maybe to use it on the retake, as I showed you before here, so that way you cover the site, or on long, where there it's quite nice spots to use it, since if you place it all the way here, you can send it like this. So that way anyone who'd be further on long would have to go quickly into the side or try to TP, or you can be holding them here, and it can be free kill for you, since they don't really have anywhere to run. Of course, the same thing can be once again applied on A side, where for retake it is, I would say, great, since most of the time enemies would be playing anywhere in these spots, so using it like this can work nicely. And of course you can combine it even with your Molotovs, which you can send into the corners where it doesn't hit. And of course you can use it even to stop the push. For example, here on A, once again you can use it all the way here from short, so that way it's gonna cover this whole area. And anyone who'd be already committed to the push would have to go out, since they would not usually have time to run back. So yeah, this character is really creative, and you can there's plenty of ways how to get some entries, information, and some free kills with it, if you know and if you get used to these abilities. I think it's one of the best characters that can be used here, and definitely leave a like and subscribe, and see you guys soon. Bye!